had to take 2 of them to veterinaries already this week.
You hear what she said? You hear what she said? What she said? Veterinarians are what? Animal doctors, because they viewed us as animals. Okay? She said, Senator, please, no chicken bones, I'm begging you, because I had to take 2 of them to the veterinarians last week. Okay? But this is how we use it. So she's feeding them under the table. I mean, he's feeding them under the table like their dogs, right? But now I want you to hear this. This is another interesting statement.
Attempt to prevail over his fellow man,
but not equality. That is my statement. Signed, John Randolph of Roanoke.
So sometimes they mention the name of the person that they're quoting from the slave master's journals.
I, Professor Thomas R. Duke. In history, we know that every great civilization was founded on slavery. Let us take the classic examples of Greece and the Romans who went suture. It's God's and nature's law that man attempt to prevail over his fellow man. If one becomes the master, one becomes the slave. Let us remember that God is one, and his law is one, which is over all other races.
Hey, sorry, Professor. What was that you said?
God is one, and as long as God is one, we shall prevail over all other races.
Beg your pardon, Professor, but with all this confusion, would you mind repeating?
God is one, and as long as God is one, we shall prevail over all other races.
Thank you, Greg.
So what was the statement? What was the statement?
God is white, and they won't prevail over all the races.
You said God is white, and as long as God is white, we should prevail over all other races. All right? So it shows you it was by design. Because they make you feel like God, the ultimate superior power in existence, is white. Then it lower your self-esteem. Right? Because I can teach my child, they can be a doctor or a lawyer, I can't teach them God. Right? So it makes black people have a feel inferior to white people, all right? And that's why they've given us this white image of Jesus, all right? Now, I bet you if information came out and showing that Jesus was black, they would change the whole thing around.
Oh, they can't stand that.
They'll do it quick. All right? But now, I want you to see this next scene. This next scene is rough, so, yeah. If you would rather not see this, you might want to step out the room for a second. But this is the slave ship. Okay? And you have to see the conditions that our ancestors were brought over here in. Okay? And like I said, I thought I knew everything about it.
Very much. Any other viewpoints?
Perhaps I too may say something to these gentlemen from.
Christ for the stink, Captain. What did you bring, a cargo of rotten meat?
What do you mean? This is all prime beef. They stink because they eat like pigs and they vomit all over themselves.
Long voyage.
95 days from the Ivory Coast.
Did you ever take them up on deck for a little fresh air?
With all the freakers nosing around these waters like hungry dogs. Times have changed, Mr. Sims. Now that our damn Yankee government considers this cargo contraband, if they catch me with even one nigger on board, it's up the rope I go, and I wouldn't be the first.
They're bound to rot away down in that cesspool.
Not on your life. Or my ship hygiene's the rule. That means a clean ship, clean cargo. When one of them gets took bad, I don't wait for the plagues the others. No, sir. It's into the brine. Then and there. Captain Wicks delivered the goods in perfect condition. And
How many head you got?
326, including the wind.
So think about it. They're laying at the bottom of these ships with rats and cockroaches crawling all over them, right? What kind of trauma did that cause for them that passed through us? All right? But I want you to see something. This is what they call a loose packing. And you see where they're at, right? It's 2 guys right here. If they had to go to the bathroom, where do you think they went at? Right where they were at. If they had to throw up, right there, right? But had this been a tight packing, they would have been in there like spoons, because they want to get as many of them over as they possibly could fit on the ship. Okay? But it's not. They get worse, y'all.
This batch is all static. No syphilis, and they've all busted with seed. But look how rested they are. My travels from country. Each one got a space 6 foot by 2 foot. Why, they can even turn around. Real standard. Every night they so hot for pleasure, and they all humping each other like a pack of dogs. And chains don't stop no how. And here's the winches. All of them got pups, and they're all pregnant again. How many? 112. You go $300 each?
You text, Captain? You know I don't buy by the head, I buy by the pound.
All right, say $200.
That's what they call giving a shower.
Hey, what are you doing, drowning them?
I told you. Rule number 1, hygiene. 3 showers a day. Salt water kills the fleas, lice.
Then you ring them and hang them out to dry, I reckon. Got 'em.
You imagine, you're on this boat, you get sick, so you get the runs, right? But watch what he says. He says, oh, but we know how to cure that.
Mighty what a pest hole. That's diarrhea. Just busted with help, ain't they, you old pirate?
It happens now and then. But we know how to cure it.
The usual cure.
It's the oldest and the surest. Sugarcane, plug, oakum, and tar. And
And they were insert it into their record. And he said, well, how come they don't blow up? He said, oh, well, the cork will pop out just like it's on a bottle of champagne. This is how they talk.
That's how they treated us.
Right.
like a bottle of champagne.
Hey, what's that slop?
Well, that's molasses and beef grease. Secrets goes crazy for them. Have to trust them and feed them a little at a time, otherwise they'd choke themselves on it.
Looking at him, you wouldn't think so.
So you think about it. He's like, I'd rather starve myself to death than go through what they're doing to me, right? Because they came from greatness, from kings and queens and messengers of God, and now we're being treated like this. But watch, that would be a waste of their time and money. So the guy calls for a chisel, a hammer, and a file. And he says, go ahead and serve dinner.
And starve themselves to death. A real pitiful case. Hey, Doc, chisel, hammer, and file. Go ahead and serve dinner.
Oh, God.
All right, let's say $150 a head.
You just breaking wind again. By the pound, I said. The whole cargo, $1 a pound.
$2,
$1.25,
$75,
$1.50.
So,
And they would have a whole plant of where they would process the Africans that they brought over to be slaves.
And the worst part is they use other black people.
Absolutely.
There's always one.
And think about it. We're doing the
It's the
same
same
type of
record,
stuff,
yup.
right? Hurting each other, killing each other, right? But the thing is this, I didn't show you this for you to be angry. I showed you this to have understanding. So that you know. Because they're trying to erase this history. Because they don't want our kids, they don't want the children of America to know what they did. That's why Trump put that ban, right?
Brother Rashid, I'm still stuck on Steve Harvey, not what he was saying, but the audience's response. All that laughing, all that, just the mention of slavery. How do you laugh?
Absolutely.
How do you laugh at that?
Because they don't know it was that.
And he's just, being his Steve Harvey self,
Right.
Being a comedian.
Being a coon. I mean,
Exactly. That's what he is.
but that's what it is. So, I mean,
That's what he is.
right? But now, this week I just started going through a book that I bought years ago. I bought this book. The book was $60. When I looked through the pages, I said, I gotta have this book. But this book was called Without Sanctuary. It's a pictorial history of lynching. Okay? Our kids don't know about this stuff.
You know how much the book was about?
How much?
About $300.
Oh, wow.
Brother Rashid, I wondered this about the slave ships.
Mhm.
They mentioned the slave trip, the trip itself, 94 days. 94 days living
In those conditions.
or surviving. Yeah. And now it was upsetting, but then I thought about, we are here. That tells you something about just how strong we are as a people. It says something about our DNA. And I think that's what they fear today.
Now,
Absolutely.
very interesting that you said that.
And
Because,
just to pick real quick, without sanctuary is $700.
wow.
What was that? 700? For what?
Without sanctuary,
700.
$700 for a hardcover.
When they get to 1 million, I'm photocopying.
Yeah, hold on, that too, bro. Yeah.
So they'll buy them out. They'll buy the books and burn them.
Right.
See, that's
Right.
That's
That's
true.
true. That's true. But I want you to see some of these things from this book. All right. Now this is man being hanged, and you see the little girl sitting there, she's smiling, right? But we can't blame them because this is what they were being taught, right? This is what they had to conform to, right? Now this one is horrible. Burned. He was hung and burned. And what they would do is they would break off pieces of the body and give it out to the crowd as souvenirs. Okay? Kids could get a day off from school to go and see this.
Yeah.
And in the book it mentions a little girl saying, "Oh yeah, you know, I've seen one hang, now I want to see one burn." Okay? But this is what happens to a people when they become marginalized, right? This guy, his name was Will James. They call his nickname is Frog, right? Look at this. That stake, that's his head on the stake. It says half burned head of James. Okay? Then if you look here, this is the ashes of his body. They burnt them. Not no cremation tools. They burnt him straight up there. And the thing is that this one, they turned into a postcard. And they would send it out to friends and family and said, "This is the barbecue that we had last night." Okay? Look at that. They turned that one into a postcard too, and it says, "Warning, this is the answer of the Anglo-Saxon race to black brutes who would attack the womanhood of the South."
Intimidation.
Mm-hmm. And this look at this crowd. All these people. All these people, right? And then you see the hanged, burnt body right there. Now this one stays in my mind. It's ingrained in my mind. Because my dad showed it to me at a young age. With that crowd just sitting around looking at that man being burned. Now, let me say this to you. Any mind that doesn't have a belief in God is capable of any and everything. Any and everything. If you are without a belief in a higher power and that you know you have to answer to, you are capable of any and everything. Right? But the thing is, what they're doing is they are pushing atheism on to the black community. And I'm starting to hear more and more black people saying that they're atheists. Okay? Now, let's see if we saw this.
Look. I was 65 years ago, and
This is Jerry Jones. This is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He was, they had a picture of